Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to Listen Up Livingston, the community arm of local leaders in which we feature interviews of those making a difference in our community and in Livingston Parish. And today we have, the trim and fit Jeff Ard sitting across from us right here, current parish councilman for District 1.
District 1.
District 1 in Livingston Parish. What does District 1 cover?
So District 1 runs from Walker north of the railroad tracks, all the way to the Tickfall River and Holden. And it's basically everything above the interstate, all the way to the St. Helena Parish line.
That's
pretty big
district. And you've been serving in that capacity for 8 years?
I'm in my 8th year right now.
Yeah, very good. And we're going to kind of get into, all of that. But before we do, some people may not be familiar with, who you are outside of politics. And you've got a family.
Yes, I'm married to my wife, Tina. We've been married for 28 years.
Met her, and she is a workhorse.
Yes, she is. She's definitely the work behind the madness.
Absolutely.
That's what I tell everybody when I wake up. My wife and my phone tells me where to go every day, what to do.
Love that.
So
I know that feeling.
Yeah, we have two children. My daughter is a critical care nurse.
Oh, very good.
My son's a process technician. Extremely proud of both of them, both graduates of college.
Awesome. Done a great job with
have
them.
A beautiful, best of all granddaughter.
Oh.
That definitely rules the house.
Spoiled rotten. I hear you. Nothing wrong with that. And you're a Walker guy. Been a Walker guy your whole life?
My whole life. I actually grew up in Satsuma. That's where we lived. And we were right on the line.
Okay.
So we went to school in Walker.
Yeah.
But it kind of fits with where I'm at in the parish. I went to school in Walker and knew all the Walker people, but in the summertime, I spent most of my time in the Livingston area.
Okay.
Because that was closer to the house, playing ball. And even when my kids started playing ball, that's where they wound up playing, was in the Livingston area.
Very good. And you mentioned Walker. You went to Walker High School, played sports?
Played sports. I was a quarterback.
Yeah.
Played leadership role in sports. Ran track, played baseball.
It's interesting what playing in sports will do for you, as in, of course, none of us realize this when we're in high school, but you get out, you get into a career, and that's kind of where those lessons start, how to work with people, how to work as a team, those sorts of things. So,
yes, I refer back to it all the time.
Yeah, me too.
A lot of things that the coaches were preaching to us, and we just, give him a deaf ear and not really pay attention. And next thing you know, you're coaching and you're telling your kids the same thing, and you realize, maybe that old guy knew what he was talking about.
Right. That's right. And work ethic, just getting out there and doing something you don't necessarily want to do, like maybe run laps, but you get out there and do it, and it builds work ethic, and you take it throughout your life.
Yeah, and it definitely shows you how important everybody's role is.
Yep.
To work together as a team, to have a common goal.
That's right.
And that was the biggest thing I got out of sports, and I've used it my whole life and my entire career.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. And you played football guy. Did you play any baseball, anything like that?
I played baseball, but once I got to high school, it was football was my passion, and I basically ran track to stay in shape for football.
Yeah.
So,
well, you're not a little guy, Jeff. You're not a run. Although, I'll tell you what, I don't know what workout you're on, but, man, you are looking slim and trim and ready for I guess campaign will do that.
It'll do it. I've lost 50 pounds so far on the trail. So, yes.
Very good. Very good. Let's get into leadership for a minute because we kind of talked about that a second ago. A lot of folks may not realize you've been serving the parish for a long time. As a matter of fact, I didn't even realize, and I've known you a little while, that you have been serving the parish in one form or another for over 22 years. Started out in 2001.
Yes. So the town of Livingston, actually, it was a rec district out there. They passed a tax to build a new ballpark out there.
Yep.
I had a friend of mine that was kind of over it. He reached out to me, asked me if I would get involved. Went out there and helped them build the ballpark they have now.
Yeah.
Just after we built it, I said, my kids are going to play here, so I'm going to be involved. And got on the committee for that, and we started bringing, USSSA to this area and tournament ball and really offering more to these kids than just a little summer league.
Wow. That's fantastic and really showed at I guess an early aspect of your life that you were doing things outside of yourself. That's very important. And you, of course, progressing up to the past 8 years, you eventually became a parish councilman for District 1, as we discussed. And you have been just an absolute workhorse when it comes to your committees. I'm going to list some here for everybody to hear, but in that time you served on the Master Plan Committee, the Ordinance Committee, the Finance Committee. You have chaired the Finance Committee. You were council co-chair in both 2017 and 2021, and you were council chairman in both 2018 and 2022. Now, that last one that I just mentioned, y'all, that's important because that is voted on by his peers. Shows me you had the respect of your peers to put you in a leadership role like that, not once but twice.
Twice. Yeah. And I mean, the first time, I'll be honest, I was nervous.
Sure.
We were all new.
Yeah.
And it was both years that I took chairman were very, very crucial years. If you go back to our first term, our first year we had the flood.
Yeah.
First year of our first term, we had the flood. So it kind of just not to add that we were all new. We were trying to learn the job, and then we get hit with the worst disaster that's happened in our parish.
Yeah, and let's talk about that for just a second.
Okay.
Because I and you and all of us that experienced that, we have a unique bond. Mm-hmm. Because if you were not from this parish and you did not know what we went through, it would absolutely blow your mind. Yes. And the beautiful thing that came out of that was people.
Yes.
I mean, man, we took care of each other. And I saw things. Look, I was on the side of a road with 3 kids and a wife and nothing but the clothes we had on our back. We lost everything like everybody else did. And all I saw were people saving people and everybody contributing, everybody getting under tents and here, eat my food and all those sorts of things that felt like you were in a movie, but it showed that we had grit. And man, look, for me, it changed my life forever in a positive way. And that's a crazy thing to say about a flood. But it really made me look at what I was doing outside of myself. And, I get emotional when I think about it. But here you are, and you and other members of the council, and you're in a position where, number one, there was no returning councilman when y'all first had your run there, those first 4 years. That's an issue in and of itself. Then you have a tragic event that most people are going to pull their keys out and turn them in and say, I didn't sign up for this.
Yes.
This is supposed to be easy. The whole parish is destroyed practically. Yes. How was that?
So to add to it a little bit, I had a tornado tore up the town of Livingston 2 months into my first year.
Oh, Jesus.
And then we had a flood happen like 4 months into Hog Branch.
Yeah.
And everybody around that Holden area flooded.
Yeah.
Then the 2016 flood happened. While we're rebuilding, beginning of the fall of 2017, we had another tornado tore up the Renninger Road area in my district. Mm. So I had 4 major things that happened in my first year of serving.
Yeah.
As far as disasters, which 2016 flood by far being the worst one.
Yeah.
And I spent 4 days in a boat, just going and getting people, helping them get out of their homes. And I spent 1 day just going around with National Guard, showing them how to navigate around our parish because everything was flooded.
Yeah.
They couldn't just follow a GPS because they were running off in ditches. And
wow.
And I was just doing everything I could to help out and not be somebody just sitting behind a desk.
Yeah.
I mean, I was out there wading in water and helping people get stuff out of their homes and
love that.
Get them where we could.
Yeah. And it was everywhere in the parish. And I think it speaks to who we are as people and who you are as a person. Because if there was any time for anybody to be selfish and only think about them and theirs, that it was then, but nobody did. I mean, it was a sight to see, y'all. Now you get through that and you kind of start getting some footing in the council, and second term comes around, no hesitation at all. You're running for a second term.
Yep. I jumped right in. I never even crossed my mind to not run.
Yeah.
But in that second term is when it kind of started hitting me a little bit about, who's going to be the next parish president.
Yeah.
And I just kind of started paying attention and it just seemed all roads, all arrows pointed to that direction, and that was where I needed to go. So everything
almost
led
like
me
a calling
to this point.
for you.
Yeah, it was straight up a calling.
Yeah.
And believe me, I've got a good job.
Yeah.
I've got a very good job.
Right.
I make a good living.
Yeah.
But it just every turn of the road, it's like, hey, it's right there in my face. This is what you need to do, and you need to listen. Somebody's telling you something.
Yeah.
Listen.
I love it, and I believe a lot in those, those instincts or whatever people would call it. If you're meant to be somewhere, you can't really run from it. I believe that, and so I guess the first question I would have would be, how would you say those roles I just mentioned, serving on all those committees, how would you say that has prepared you for now running for parish president?
I mean, every one of them has helped tremendously because, my first year as the council chair was really our first year to get back to business because of the flood.
Sure.
All the disasters happened our first year. The second year was all about just rebuild.
Yeah.
So by the time the third year rolls around, we've had all these projects and things that were put on hold.
Yep.
Because we were rebuilding our parish.
Sure.
So we got hit with a lot of things real fast, and you didn't have time to learn. You just had to react and make it happen.
Yeah.
And then this last time in 2022, we just rewrote all of our ordinances on development of our parish, and it was huge.
No easy task.
No easy task. And then that led into where we're at now, which is zoning, which has also been pretty tricky for us to get that right for our people.
Yeah. And an important aspect.
Yeah. And I mean, so that's definitely things that's helped me. I've been on the finance committee the entire time I've been a councilman, reading the finances and watching where we spend our money and how we spend our money. And, like anybody running for office, do I see things that I could change? Well, I could change them, but I don't know if it'll work until I get in there.
Yeah.
And I always revert back to something that my pastor told me when I ran the first time. Before you tear a fence down, figure out what that fence was built for first. You know,
that's good advice.
So, so that's the way I am. Before I just go in and say, yeah, let's move this money here and this money here. We got to figure out why are we doing it that way now.
Yeah,
and then we'll make our decisions of what new things we can do.
That's right. And of course, with that position of parish president, you know, you're primarily the administrative side of government. So you're balancing budgets. The parish council itself, they're going to approve these budgets. They're going to pass ordinances, abolish ordinances, whatever. But the parish president manages really the day-to-day operations of the parish, and probably at the cusp of that is the budget. And, sadly, we don't have $1 trillion to play with.
No, we don't.
We run a pretty tight budget here. And
it's very tight here. And a lot of people think, we got $96 million. Yeah, but the way it works nowadays, if it's collected for something, that's all you can spend it on.
Yeah. Yeah, earmarked.
So it's earmarked, and it's got to sit there until you can spend it on what it was collected for, because that's how the people voted us to collect that money.
Yeah.
So we might have a surplus of money sitting over there in the road funds, and we need some drainage work done. Well, we can't just go take that road money and use it on drainage.
That's right. It was for a purpose, and that is to protect the people and make sure that their money's being spent where they wanted it to be spent.
Correct.
Essentially, the problem with that is sometimes you end up with, say, money in an account that you can't use anywhere else, and maybe it was slated for this particular thing, and because that doesn't exist anymore, it just kind of sits there.
Yep.
So very important that we mention that tight budget, because
did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
If you and I could have it our way and we just had an unlimited checkbook, of course, drainage problems would not exist. Infrastructure issues would not exist.
Yes.
But all of that comes with having a savvy hand to control growth is what I would say.
Yeah.
Growth generates tax dollars. Tax dollars generates money for roads and everything else. Animal control. We had talked about off camera a little bit, and very important subject in this parish that people are talking about. But there's many. There's many.
Yeah, infrastructure is going to be the biggest thing you're going to hear in this campaign from anybody running for parish president.
Yeah.
But the biggest misconception I think is out there is when someone says, I'm going to run for parish president and I'm going to stop development. And I'm in my 8th year, and I haven't seen our parish president vote for or against the first development.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have a vote.
He doesn't do that, does he?
Council has that vote.
Yeah.
Now, he can veto it, but the council can override it.
Yep.
So ultimately, your power in development is in your council.
Right.
And I think this council did a good job last year of tightening that up.
And I would also say that anybody who would want to absolutely halt development is going to be in a bind for some money pretty quick.
Right.
That's a good way to kill your community. Just my opinion is to absolutely, there's smart growth, and there's just no growth. And when you have no growth or you have negative growth, that could become a problem.
Yes.
I opened up the Livingston Parish News this week, and the headline right there on the front page is housing sales down over 40% in Livingston Parish. And look, I'll be the first to say, and I want to talk about this a little bit. What got you into actually your first run for parish council?
Well, my story behind that is that I used to live on Buddy Ellis Road, and anybody that knows that area is overdeveloped. It's houses everywhere.
Yeah.
And me and my wife thought we built our forever house there.
Yeah.
All the woods in the world behind it, And next thing you know, there's bulldozers back there.
Yeah.
They started tearing it all apart. They built Woodland Crossing, and we decided to sell and get out of there.
Yeah.
And once I moved and relocated, I said, I could sit here and complain, or I can get up and do something and try to make a difference. And that's why I ran for council. And I went in right away screaming zoning, zoning, zoning.
Yep.
It's what we need to protect people and give them some kind of say-so. And, I had 3 other guys that was dealing with the same issue I was in their areas.
Yeah.
But we just couldn't get that 5th vote at all that first term.
Yeah.
And a couple of seats changed. We started getting some development happening in the areas where people didn't really want the development to happen, which allowed us to finally get the votes to start pushing zoning for our parish. And I think more people are getting more educated on it, and they're realizing that it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It definitely can control this and at least dictate where certain development happens in our parish.
That's right. And one thing that's, anything in the political realm or where you're, voting in ordinances, regardless of what it is, or you're instituting zoning, the great thing is you have roadmaps to refer to. And what I mean by that is we're not the first parish to ever zone. So you can look at your neighbors in Ascension or East Baton Rouge Parish or wherever it may be, and you can say you can see where they made their mistakes, and you can see where they maybe did some good things, and you can take from those what you will, and you're not inventing the wheel or reinventing the wheel.
And we have municipalities that are zoned in our parish right now.
City of Denham Springs is zoned.
Livingston, Albany, they're all zoned. So we're just really going to expand from them and do the rest of the parish.
That's right. And that will control things like overdevelopment and putting something that makes absolutely no sense in an area that's totally residential, for example. Things like that can get worked out. None of that can get worked out in short order. I mean, there's a lot to it, a lot of red tape. There's things you learn along the way. There's things that maybe you thought were possible that aren't. But what that built for you that's unique is it gave you experiences that for the position you're seeking, not really nobody's ever had. There's nobody that's went from a parish council seat to a parish president seat. People might be surprised to hear that.
Yeah. So now our first parish president, Mr. Dewey Ratcliffe was actually a police juryman.
Yep.
So that was when we were rolling from police juryman to the council, the home rule charter. So that was probably the closest that we had from an actual police juryman going to our parish president. But since we've been in the home rule charter system, we have not had a councilman that's been on the, that side of it roll over to administration.
And it seems like it would be, a natural transition. You see a lot of our state reps and they'll go to the Senate. Yeah. And, I think it's important, Jeff, because I think that, you have both sides of that job covered. Doesn't matter what job you do in life. If you start out at you don't want to say the bottom because none of that is the bottom, but if you start out in one position and then you move into another role and you've done that before, guess what? You can relate to that person.
Right.
And what in that council and what they're going through. You've been there and probably have experienced more with all the, the flooding and all these things. Man, that to me is someone that I want in there because they've already been through those stressful, tough times, and they're going to know what to do.
Yeah. And
and not be shell shocked.
You definitely got to learn how to work as a team.
Yeah.
Because you can't do anything by yourself as a councilman.
Nope. Or anything in life. Trust me, I've tried.
Yeah. So I mean, you definitely have to sell whatever you're trying to do. You got to pitch it to the other councilmen. You got to try to get them other 4 votes that'll go along with you.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you brought that up because that is, you have to unify people. When you have someone, if you have someone on a council and they are more or less someone that maybe always goes their own direction. They don't want to work with anybody. They're going to get very little done. I mean, it's
Correct.
just, you have to have a certain amount of votes, majority vote on the council to get anything passed. So there's a little giving and a taking there, and it's really mirroring life. Life is that way. With a parish that has experienced that already and knows that process, to me, it's just very appealing to have them in a role such as parish president. You, for example, what is also really appealing about you is you're not a one-offer. You plan on doing this a little while.
I plan on sticking around as long as the people will have me. I'm big on accountability. And I believe that I need to go in there and do the job and make the people want me back and vote me back in.
Sure.
And
it's an accountability thing.
It's big accountability. It's all about accountability, and if I don't do a good job, the people can vote me out. But, I definitely think the people should have that say that, hey, you're doing a good job. On the campaign trail, one of the things I've always done is I've always been a records guy. I want to break every record out there. I've just always had that strive in me.
Yeah.
And I tell them, whoever you think has been the best parish president we've had, whether it's Dewey, Mike, Layton, whoever, I want to be better.
Yeah.
I want to set that standard up there to where the next guy comes in behind me, it's not going to be easy. He's going to have to work.
Yeah.
He's going to have to work just to keep up with the standard that I set.
Yeah. I love that. And that's really what you want out of your leaders, out of your community leaders is you want someone that always strives to be the best at what they do. There's nothing wrong with that. What would you say your favorite thing about being on the council has been?
Being able to help my parish.
Yeah.
I get more aggravated when someone calls me and I cannot do anything.
Yeah.
And really, we need to educate our people on how our government works a little bit better.
Amen.
Because sometimes you still got that old generation that still thinks we're a police jury system, and the newer people just haven't paid attention enough to understand how it works. So every time you almost want to ask somebody how old they are when they call you on the phone, so you know how to explain it to them.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, when I can actually do something for somebody, I love it.
Yeah.
When I can get on the phone and call, hey, go take care of this problem for them.
Yeah.
That's why I do it right there.
You want to be the problem solver.
I want to be that,
and that comes with that competitive.
Yes.
We all love to help and just a lot of people don't take it to your level. You walked the walk and talked the talk. There's a lot of people out there that you'll see, whether it's on Facebook or wherever they are, and they know all the right things to do, but they never do them. They never throw their hat in that ring.
Right.
I ain't doing that. But they, the Monday morning quarterbacking for me as a citizen, is it's real easy to sit back and look at something after it's over and done with and say, well, they should have done this or they should have done that. It's another thing to be in the midst of it when you don't know what that end result's going to be and you're making the best decision possible with all the information you have available.
And don't think that we don't think that too on Mondays.
Yeah.
We'll sit back and say, oh man, I hope that was the right thing we did.
Yeah.
But right now that was our best option.
That's right.
And sometimes you just, I've always had one rule: follow the law.
Follow the law.
Follow the law.
That's right. Can't go wrong.
Cannot go wrong. And if I'm following the law, I feel like I'm right. And if it's not working for our community, then hey, we're the council. Let's rewrite the law.
Yeah. And
that's what we did last year.
That's right. And I want to talk for a minute about change. And it's to me, it's the most glaring topic in the upcoming election season, not only on the council, which has got massive change coming. I mean, there's people running for all kinds of things on that council. but also throughout the parish. I mean, there's tons of new faces that will be representing the parish. Some of these have governmental experience. Some of these don't. They've never even been in politics. So that can be scary to a guy that's been around a little while.
Yeah.
The nice position that you're in is, as we discussed earlier, it's a natural transition for you. You could slip into that like your favorite slippers. I mean, just it would be comfortable to you. You're in it for the long term, which is important. As we highlighted earlier, you number one, you're just a competitive guy, and number two, you love your parish, and number three, you're gonna answer every 4 years to somebody, so you're constantly motivated to do better. I think that is important, and you announced this candidacy for this position in January. You've met a lot of people throughout this, and I've been around a few candidates in my life, and one thing they probably love more than anything else is the fact they meet all these people they never would have met outside of running for office. Win or lose, that's usually their favorite part. Now, what would you say the top?
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Concern you've had as far as something you could answer?
It's infrastructure.
Yeah.
And drainage is number one infrastructure problem that everyone asks about. And 2/3 of our parish is unfunded drainage district.
Yeah.
Which is the bottom portion of our parish mostly, where everything drains to.
Marpole,
Port Vincent, all of that, French Solomon. And we have to fix that.
Yeah, we have to get those funded.
One thing that I would love to propose something, which me and 4 other councilmen have been a part of it. We're still working on it. We ain't quite worked all the details out, but we think we have something that people would like. We hope to get that done before we leave. If not, we're going to have to pass it over to the next council and let them run with it.
Yeah.
But if we could get the rest of the parish funded, then we could start working on a parish-wide plan.
Sure.
We could get these districts to start communicating with each other so that if they start cleaning a canal out in the Watson area that runs through Watson down to French Settlement, they could communicate together and get this clean from the top to the bottom.
Right.
Versus a section of it getting done this year and then the next section gets done next year. And right now there's no communication between our drainage districts.
Wow.
And we need to fix that.
Yeah.
It's not. We need to fix it. We need to have that communication.
Yeah, you really do. And you just said a key word there, and that was plan. Plan. Imagine that.
You got to have a plan.
Jeff Hart, imagine that. Yeah, when you have a plan, and you're a forward thinker, I look at you as a forward thinker. You seem like somebody that really contemplates, how can we fix this? You're not somebody that, look, you're going to put people in place. As you said earlier, staff is important. It's important. And all of us as people, we have to humble ourselves and know that we're not all things to all people. And it takes a team.
It takes a team. And this next administration is going to have to come in with a team.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that, rumor is they're retiring, they're leaving, whatever it may be. They might just not want to work for whoever the next guy is. But,
sure.
Whoever wins is going to have to sit down and have them meetings and say, are you staying or leaving?
Yeah.
You know, and then figure out who am I going to bring in to take the void and fill that spot and help me turn this around.
Absolutely.
You know, and I really feel like my generation, me and your generation, we've waited almost too late to take over. We've had the same group, elderly group that's kind of ran our parish forever, and we've just kind of accepted it. Mm-hmm. You know, well, it's time for a new generation to take over. Yeah. You know, and you know, we're kind of that bridge between old school and new school. Yeah. And we need that administration to happen before new school just takes over.
Yeah, I
you know,
agree
and
with
it's and that's the technology group that's coming behind us.
Absolutely,
you know, they're all about technology. We're a little bit of both still.
Yeah,
you know, and I don't think it would be good for us to completely skip over without kind of having that transition that leads us into technology.
I agree 100%. And look what we're doing right now. We're on a podcast. This is something 5 years ago you didn't really have. Right. You know, it was really at its infancy, and now it is a platform in which has changed the whole face of especially the political spectrum. Yeah. Everything from Facebook Lives to what we're doing right now. So you're absolutely right that the embracing of this technology is important. And it's there for the taking. It's important that we have and that's not a slight against an older generation. It's just time. It's time to kind of pass that torch and let some people that are in it for the long haul get in there and try to make a difference. It's important to me that they're parish people, that they love their parish, and I can tell you this, I sure don't get the sense out of you that you're sitting back and you're twiddling your thumbs and you're saying, what can I do to mess up the parish? Yeah, I mean, everybody lives here that you love, right?
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I've always done it for, you know. I mean, like I said, I got a beautiful granddaughter that, you know, I want her to stay here. Yeah. You know, I want her to raise her family here.
Yeah.
You know, so I
don't want my kids leaving.
I want it to be better. I want to leave it better for her.
Absolutely.
You know? And that's my goal is to, you know, we want to continue growing, but we want to do it the right way. You know, we don't want to just destroy our lands.
No, that's right. And a big appeal to our parish and something that's very important to all of us. You brought up infrastructure, important topic. And you also brought up the fact that it's important citizens are educated on how government works. And look, there are some things with infrastructure that we have total control over, and there are some things we have zero control over. Anything that is state-owned, good luck with DOTD. Yes. They move at a snail's pace, sadly. And you know, a lot of times you're at their mercy. If it's an off-ramp and it runs off the interstate, you know, that the parish can kick and scream, but they're going to take care of neighboring parishes probably quicker that are bringing in money to them. And it's sad because as a general citizen, a lot of people don't realize that. They think, well, that's the Denham Springs off ramp. That should be, you know, something we pay for. And I'm like, no, that's state government.
Money. Yeah, state government. And look,
whole different deal.
A lot of our problems with our traffic is state roads. Mm-hmm. You know, we all want a 4-H club intersection. Yeah. You know, we all want 4-H club road widened from Bass Pro to 190.
Absolutely. You know, I'd make it 10 lanes if I could. That
would help all that traffic tremendously.
Sure.
You know, we need to fix the Denham Springs intersection. Yeah. I mean, it's you know, I never would have thought coming from Walker getting off at Denham would be so bad.
Yeah. But, I wouldn't have either.
You know, we need to finish the Jubin widening. Yeah. You know, and then move over to Jubin extension. Yeah. You know, all of that stuff is state projects that all we can do is just kind of keep pushing them. You know, we need this, we need this, we need this.
That's right. Cook Road extension. How long did that take? You know, to really get.
They were talking about that when I came in. So that was already that happened when they started building the Jubin development over there. Yep. And So I think that was an agreement that the parish had with the developer, that once they kind of finished the development, that they would build that road. And, so you're looking at almost 12 years later, we finally have the road being built.
Yeah. We want it the next day. We're a society in general that we have absolutely no patience anymore. Thank you, TikTok. Especially with our younger generation, just ruining their attention span. But these things on a vast spectrum, they take time sometimes. And so we want someone in there that is going to be in there for the long haul. Yeah. Maybe several terms, to where when they start a project, they're not leaving in the middle of it. Or if they're pushing a project, they're going to be there for a second term to see it through. Mm-hmm. That's important.
Yes. And look, you touched on this a while ago. We're going to have a senator that's brand new.
Yeah.
We're going to have 4 state reps that are all going to be brand new.
Yep.
Looking like the council, I would say at least 4 or 5 seats are going to be brand new.
Yeah.
A parish president that's going to be brand new. I mean, our government is changing tremendously with this election.
Yeah.
And we have to have people that can work together.
That's right. Work together and strong leaders. Mm-hmm. Extremely important in situations like this. Here's the obvious question for me personally. And look, regardless of the office you're running for, I always want to ask the question of why. My wife, if I say I want to run for this office, the first thing she's going to say is, you need another thing to do, like you need a hole in your head. And then she's going to ask me why. Why run for parish president?
I just feel like it's a calling. I really feel like I can bring our parish to that next generation of thinking. We have a lot of things that we need to fix in our parish, that have just been pushed aside. And it seems like, just leave it over there in the corner. We'll get to it later.
Yeah.
No, I'm not like that. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
Let's figure out how we can fix it. And, and then when you show me we can't fix it, I'll go tell the people this is why we can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just leave it on the shelf. But I mean, it's all about helping my parish, my people, my family. My family's from here. I've lived here my whole life. I'm going to be buried here in Livingston Parish. I'm not going anywheres.
Yeah.
I'm planning on staying here, and I've always been one that I'll get out in front and I'll fight with you.
Love it.
And that's what I want to do.
Yeah, and that's all people can really ask.
Yeah.
Let's talk, since you just brought up community and things like that. Let's talk your community involvement now. To me and probably many others out there, that really proves a strong sense of where someone's heart is, right? Mm-hmm. It's the things you do, you don't have to do, the extra. That's what matters. Because at the end of the day, those are the things that you have no motivation to do. You're just more or less doing it because you care. You are very community involved. I always have been. I've been coach on teams, ball teams, and most recently, though, you were a Leadership Livingston graduate.
Yep, I just graduated Leadership Livingston, and I wish I would have done it a little sooner.
Yeah,
but I really think the timing was perfect for me.
Yeah,
because it made me aware. I've been here my whole life.
Yeah,
and there was things that I learned about Livingston Parish that I didn't even know existed.
Probably one of my favorite programs of any program I've ever done in my life, and I've done quite a few, is Leadership Livingston, because I went into that thinking, this is a leadership program, and it's I lived a life in the sales world where it was all about being number one, and there's nothing wrong with that, and you and I are both like that. We want to be number one, and I got into that thinking it was going to be kind of like that. And then I realized, wait a minute, we're building something for somebody, and we're finding funding for this. And it was all nonprofit type work. Mm-hmm. And Man, it changed me.
Yeah, I mean, it really brings good awareness to some things in our parish that we need to show the rest of the people that this is out there.
Absolutely. Just a wonderful program.
My group, we did a project with the pupil appraisal assessment for the parish school system, and I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah.
And
you're rooted here. You've been here your whole life.
My whole life. And it's just because I never had to use that system with me nor my children.
Yeah.
So if you don't use it, you don't know it's there.
Hungarian settlement. I didn't realize it. I mean, I'd heard of it, but I'd never visited it. And I was like, wow, man, this is in our parish. So many great things. We got a premier boat dealer here in this parish. Gator Tracks, I believe is the name of it. We went and visited. Amazing operation out there. And so many things that you learn through that. But guess what? Jeff didn't get paid to do that because there was no paycheck at the end of that. As a matter of fact, we had to pay to do it.
It cost us to do it. Yeah. And I mean, it was, one Tuesday a month we went and, plus our time that we spent on working on our project and getting funding and just figuring out how we were going to help our community. And I really thought it was a great program, just like you said. And I mean, I recommend it to anybody, especially someone looking to do some type of leadership role in our parish.
Yeah. I agree as well. And they're just doing a great job over there at Chamber of Commerce and April keeps them straight and keeps all of us straight, really. If she had a ruler, she'd probably hit us in the back of the head. Yeah. Seems like that type. Love her to death. Now, I'm going to ask you maybe a tough question here, but something that needs to be asked because it's a concern of the citizens, and we've touched on this throughout this podcast, the growth issue. What would you say, from a parish president standpoint, which is different than a parish councilman standpoint, because the parish president doesn't really have a whole lot of control over the growth, do they?
No. I mean, this is the way I look at it. The parish president's job is to make sure that when they build a development, they follow the rules.
Yeah.
The rules that the council sets.
Yeah.
So whether that be zoning, ordinances, build lines, building permits, whatever it is, the parish president's job is to make sure they follow those rules.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. That as far as development, that's his control. And now it ain't like he can go sit down with the council and say, hey, we have a problem here. We need to look at it. And he very well could sit down and be a part of the solution.
Right.
And I fully intend to do it if they want me to.
Yeah.
But I'm not one that I'm going to go in and say, hey, this is the dictatorship and y'all going to do what I want to do.
Yeah. No,
but if you want my input and you want me to sit down with you and help you figure this out, let's do it.
Well, and that's the advantage to having someone that's been in both roles is there's nothing wrong with being an ear to listen to and offering a helping hand and saying, hey, I've been down this road and here's what worked for me, and that's important. So infrastructure obviously is a top priority to you. What else out there do you see relative to Livingston Parish that you personally are going to try to make a difference and change?
Animal control.
Yeah.
I mean, we've overlooked it for a long time.
Yeah.
And I have some ways that I think we can have it fund itself.
Yeah.
Without having to ask the taxpayers to pay more money.
Hey, that's a good thing.
Yeah. And anytime we can do something where it's not asking for more tax money.
Yeah.
I'll try to push that as much as I can.
Yeah.
I mean, as a matter of fact, we just had a peak tax exemption that happened at the parish council. Mm-hmm. We had some that didn't want to do it because it's taking some money out of the road fund. Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes that $5 a month is the difference in putting food on the table or paying an electric bill. Sometimes some things are just a little more important. And if I can give my people a break on taxes, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that. And you have a slogan that'll absolutely think is great. I don't know who came up with that. So shout out to your campaign manager maybe or whoever did, but standing strong for Livingston Parish. And to me, Livingston Parish needs strong leaders. It's been a topic we've talked about throughout this conversation. You know, we don't need politicians who are making a living but not making a difference. Yeah, and I coined that phrase, by the way.
Yeah.
So don't anybody try to take that one. That's mine. Yeah. But how passionate are you about making a difference?
Oh, big time. Because like I said, I'm walking away from a great career.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I could stay right where I'm at. You know, money's no difference. You know, benefits are no different. You know, probably the only major difference is as parish president, I am the boss.
Yeah.
You know, where in my work world now, I still do have some bosses. But I mean, that's how much, you know, everybody asks me all the time, why are you walking away from such a good career?
Yeah.
Well, it's a calling.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm being called to do this, and
I know what you mean.
And I can't walk away from it. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like that I can bring what I've learned in my world to the parish, and bring this way to work with technology and accountability, and really make a difference in our parish.
I believe that, and I believe that's where your heart is. And one of the things I love about doing, especially these Listen Up Livingston episodes in particular, is the people can see it. Mm-hmm. You know, not everybody can make these events. You know, people. I say this all the time, but the majority of people, I mean, you know, especially the say 35 to 50 crowd. They're getting home from work. They got kids. They're bringing the ball games. They are about as interested in taking time out, most of them, to add something else to the plate as the man on the moon. But if you can bring something to them that they can listen to in traffic on the way to work or whatever, watch it at home while they're doing something, it makes it convenient for them. It really gets the message out. And it lets people know who you are just outside of a name. And I'm going to ask you this question, and the reason I'm going to ask this and bring this up is it's a question that a lot of people have on their mind. And that is, we just said name. And sometimes people hear a name, and when they hear the name Ard, and they think, well, his brother's a sheriff, and he's running for parish president, and that's putting too much power in the hands of family. Or what do you say to that?
Well, what I say to
how
that,
do you answer that?
You know, first off, our parish has been built on families that have stood up for this parish.
Amen.
Max, Hughes, Taylors, you know, we can make lists. Sibley's, Staffords, you know, they've all done their part. You know, that's the families that are from here. You know, we want to fight for our parish.
Yeah.
You know, me and my brother are in two different departments.
Yeah.
They don't work together.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, right now, I could probably do more for him as a councilman.
Absolutely, you could. Yeah.
Yeah. If he needed a law changed, something like that done, he could come to me. I could get the other 4 votes, and I can make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, parish president, as far as it's just a title. You know, he's the president of the government that he's over. A lot of people think, well, you're going to be your boss, your brother's boss. No, they're two different departments. They have nothing to do with each other. Right. We have a jail that we work together. The administration, parish president's administration, is overpaying for all the bills. Mm-hmm. We pay for utilities, linen, toothbrushes, food, everything, medical. Yeah. The sheriff's over security.
Yep.
That's why the sheriff pretty much runs the day-to-day operation there, because he's responsible for the security.
Sure.
You know, but aside from that, when a disaster comes in, they kind of work together, but they have different roles.
Well, you want them to work together.
Well, the sheriff's job is to go secure everything.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's the parish president's job to clean it up.
That's right.
and go get the funding and hire the people to come in here and pick everything up. And, so they're working together as a team. And the best way I could explain it to people, you got to look at Livingston Parish as you're building a house. Mm-hmm. And you hired a guy to do the framing of your house that did an exceptional job.
Right.
And he's got a brother that's an electrician.
Yeah.
Would you not take a chance on it?
That's right. Yeah. That's a great way to put that. And, look, you're in a situation like a disaster, and we have our share. We got hurricanes come through here, floods. Mm-hmm. We've had it all. I don't have any problem with someone being able to communicate with someone and have an open line of communication where you're working together to get things done. It just so happens that y'all are brothers.
Yeah.
You both community servants and elected officials, and in my view, have done a great job in your independent roles.
Yeah. And I'm not. A lot of people look at us as y'all been here forever. Yeah, but we only been doing politics for a very short period of time.
Right.
My brother's in his 12th year as a sheriff. I'm in my 8th year as a councilman.
Yeah.
It's not like we've been doing this since the 90s.
That's right.
Me helping him with his campaign is what showed me I can sit around and complain, or I can get up and do something about it.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided to run.
Well, the apple don't fall far from the tree in that case. And you're both leaders. And so, last question today, because we're going 54 minutes. You love your parish?
I love my parish.
Yeah.
I could not imagine living anywhere else.
Yeah.
Even when I go on vacation, you get to that point where I just want to be home.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a great place to leave it, Jeff Ward. I wish you the absolute best of luck. And before we get out of here, I do want to say, maybe you have an event coming up. People can meet you. They're going to see you on this thing. Say, I'm going to shake that guy's hand. Or?
Yeah, I actually have one, coming up tonight. I don't think you'll get this out that quick.
Well, probably not that quick.
Yeah, but we have them. Just go to Facebook and check it out, and we post it on everything we can. And we're trying to move around the parish as much as we can and hit every corner of the parish with meet and greets. And just every time we hear of an event, we're there. We just did the 4th of July with Walker and the 4th of July with the town of Livingston.
Had a great turnout at those.
Great turnouts.
And let me tell you, the fish, I don't know who's in charge of that, but that was good.
I did that.
Oh, man. You can cook some fish. Anytime you have a fish fry, I'm available.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you, and look, my wife's picky on fish, and she would love it. She'd like, you'd have thought she was eating Popeye's chicken or something. She was going so fast through that stuff.
Well, we'll be doing quite a few of them events coming up. We're right at the 3-month mark to the election.
Yeah.
Election's October 14th, and early voting starts, I think, September 30th.
Yeah.
I hope the people will see that, I'm the guy for the job and my heart's in the right place.
Yeah.
And I'll do the job.
Very good.
I won't be sitting at home. I'll be at work.
Very good. Very good. So I hope y'all got something out of that. Look, vote. I cannot tell you how important it is, especially this election cycle, that you get out there, let your voice be heard, regardless of what offices you're voting for, whatever. Get out there and vote, and hopefully, if anything else, this podcast opened your eyes to who Jeff is, but behind, outside of the parish council chambers, and will help you make an informed decision. And look for, as he said, his, meet and greet events that he loves to meet the people. And if you got any questions that I didn't ask him. Ask him. He'll be glad to answer anything you got. So thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. And until next time, I'm Jim Chapman, reminding you to love your community, support local business, and vote people, and keep leading. Thank you very much.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.